Hello and welcome to the Rangers Rabble. My name's Mark and today I am joined with Alex. How we doing, Alex?
Yeah, good. Nervous.
Lee, how we doing, Lee?
Lee, mate, you've had like 10 minutes to sort yourself out. What are you doing?
Don't know what Lee's doing. How's you, Scott? You alright?
Not bad.
Good. You good? You alright, Lee? Can you hear us? Lee's having a howl. It doesn't look as if he can hear us. Not to worry, we'll crack on. So we're here for the big game, semi-final preview, Europa League semi-final, Rangers versus RB Leipzig. As I said, it's a massive game for me, absolutely huge, and I can see that probably everybody in the comments is feeling the same as the rest is, like a cat in a hot tin roof at the minute. Scotty, how are you feeling? You seem quite calm.
Aye.
Yeah.
I think I said this. To be honest, I think I don't know whether it's a good thing, bad thing, or a good omen, but I think we can all agree that when it comes to these huge, particularly the European nights, this team have built up a lot of credit in the bank. They've always given us 100%. And for me, I've got a lot of trust in the team to go out and put a performance in. And that's, for me, where the nerves usually stem from. What Rangers are going to turn up, how we're going to do. We can't control the opposition. We can't control what the opposition do, but we can control what we do. And I have a lot of trust that the players are going to go out and do what they do. And they do what they do on the European night. And I've got... Okay, yeah, I am calm, but now I've started talking, I can... Next.
How are you doing, Lee? Can you hear us now? Can you hear me now?
Aye, I can hear you. It's just same usual stuff, mate, at the start of the podcast. It just doesn't work.
You've froze. I'll go to you, Alec. How are you feeling? Are you
Can you hear
nerves?
me okay?
Yeah, I hear you now, Lee. Hi, yeah.
Yeah, nerves are in. I think I put a tweet out today and
Completely gone. Right.
I put a tweet out today saying, from what I remember, like just personally to me, this is the biggest game that I've ever sat down and actually thought about. In my lifetime. Obviously, there was 2008, but I was only 7 years old. I couldn't take it in the same as I can take today in, and I don't know. It's such a nice feeling, and I'm nervous as hell because I watched last night. I don't think it'll be as similar whatsoever, but I watched last night's Liverpool Villarreal game, and we're not likened, but when there's teams that are supposedly worlds apart, Villarreal first half were good. They were rock solid, and then they weren't in the second half. And I'm just nervous because I don't know what to. I say this every European game, but I don't know what to expect. I really don't know what to expect whatsoever, and
you just completely contradict everything I said there. Don't know what to expect.
I get to the, I'm excited. I'm really excited, but the nerves are just as up there.
You hear us, Lee?
By the way, Mark, can we quickly just address Alex's humble brag? He must have mentioned I was only 7 in 2008 about 100 times. Nice one.
I was trying to move swiftly on for that. I was trying to brush past it.
Listen, the comments would have me at 7 now, so.
This is true. Are you all right, Lee? You with us? Can you hear us now?
For the time being, mate. Aye, for the time being. I don't know. It was perfect in the run up, and then just started cutting off. So if I cut off again, apologies. So
I was going to ask you if you were in Martin's front room.
It's just the usual. Like the second that I actually need to be on live, it cuts off. It's Stoke for you, mate. It's a Stoke internet. So
how are you feeling anyway? I've asked the other two boys. How are you feeling? How's the nerves?
Mate, most nervous I've been for a Rangers game in years. Like I can't even remember. Like you usually have your classic nerves for old firms, but there's just something about this one that it's just been. The second I woke up this morning, I've just been in like an absolute state. Like I'm getting to the point now where I can feel myself like kind of jittering just thinking of the game, because it's only this game, mate. I think next week, if we're still in the tie, takes care of itself. So it's this game specifically that I'm just bag of nerves.
That's funny. I think everybody apart from Scotty's. Oh, there's Martin. How we doing?
It's the boss.
I don't think he meant to do that.
Is he coming on?
He's there in his underpants. Did you not see him? He's got his dinner down, his t-shirt, and his underpants. Now everyone knows what happens behind the scenes at the Rabble.
You can imagine, but can't you? Just the last time we were at this point, it was 2008, Scotty. Is this a better run? Does it mean more than 2008? This one.
Oh well, I don't know if I can answer that. I think they mean as equally as much as each other, but for very different reasons. If you recall 2008, I don't know. It's hard to explain because 2008 was very similar to Alex's situation. For me, in my lifetime, that was the first European final, semi-final, final that we got to, and that's excluding 93 because at that stage I was only 7. So at that was just an unbelievable achievement, and I remember that run thinking we had no right to be there. We didn't play the football. I remember guys like Leo Messi, like after we played Barcelona, said, "Oh, they play anti-football," and I remember that tag being stuck all the way through. We defended for our lives. We probably went through games only having 1 or 2 shots, and we scored from them. We didn't play the same way as we play now, albeit the budget and the golf was probably similar. We still deserve to be there in 2008 as we do here and now. But when you take into account what's happened in between, fuck me, it makes this achievement absolutely monumental. And whether it's 2008 or now, that feeling of immense pride is there. Now, if we can go on the same journey, 2008, and get to the final, then we're actually asking a serious question of which run is better. But until we get to the final, I don't think we can really give a definitive answer on that, because you've got to say getting to a final equally just straight away means it's the better run because we got to the final. However, the style in which we do it, if we get to the final doing it this way, by all means, having lost a couple more games on the run, will probably be more. Level of opposition, I'll probably say this one. If we get through by beating Dortmund and Leipzig, the level of opposition beaten to get there is probably higher. Well, definitely higher.
Yeah, I would probably agree. I think that 2008 was special, very, very special for me. I never ever thought I would ever see anything like that for a Rangers team. I thought, well, days of that were pretty much behind us. But it was just something fantastic. But like you said, Scotty, the way we done it, the manner we done it was kind of a skin of our teeth, really. It was almost like a snatch and grab on it. It was a kind of, we robbed some teams to come away like that. How did we win that game? I think just
even if you recall, even that Panathinaikos game in Athens, we go 1-0 down, and obviously Nacho scores to equalise. But I remember sitting there thinking, "Fuck, excuse me, how are we even level against the level of Panathinaikos?" And it just seemed in that run, it didn't matter who we came up against. We treated the game the same, and the game panned out the same. I think Werder Bremen away, where McGregor makes that save, we could have got beat that night 4 or 5-0. The Fiorentina games are actually different ones, because I don't think Fiorentina actually. I remember the nerves throughout those 2 games being unbearable because it was 0-0, and it was 0-0 all the way. I don't expect that to happen tonight. Coincidentally, I'm actually in the same venue as well when I watch those games, so hopefully that's a good omen.
Hopefully that's a good omen, mate. So if you look at the press and the pundits and stuff like that, it's as if we've won a competition to win this, Alex.
Yeah.
Do we deserve to win this? Don't we? This isn't a fluke. We're here in our merit. Is that? Do you think that's the case?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I know. Unfortunately, no Celtic fans who, and they cheered when we drew Borussia Dortmund. You know, there was a message put in our chat which was, you know, yep, that's you's out now, you's are goners, and you know, that's what they thought.
I don't know Celtic fans that can read and write, so I don't believe it.
Well,
there's got to be one that can write, but just can't spell.
But yeah, I mean, I then we beat them, and then, you know, Red Star, we deserved to go through, and we did it, and we beat them, and then we beat Braga again. You know, they came to the Cauldron of Ibrox, and within 1 minute they were already shattered, and it just shows that I think the team deserved to be here. 100% the team deserved to be here, but so does the support, and you know, from what we've gone through, put that aside, just the pure support of this season, I reckon, yeah, absolutely, we deserve to be here both on and off the pitch.
What about you, Lee? Do you think this is our level? We deserve to be here. We should be in this competition, and we should be punching. We should be at this level.
100%. It's like some of the comments for pundits, especially, was it that Matthews, German boy, who was saying that Dortmund could beat up a third-rate team.
I like that. Matthias, you talked about Lothar.
Oh my God! Did you just get Lothar Matthäus' name wrong?
Listen, I'm too nervous, right, to even care about it. But if you're a third-rate team, you don't.
You look like an expecting dad, man. You're worse than me.
Mate, my nerves are shattered. Absolutely shattered. I think it's a combination of this. Is this going to cut off again, and our Rangers going to win? So. But if you're a third-rate team, mate, you don't go to Dortmund and score 4, and you don't score 6 in a tie overall against them. We are here well within our own merit. Like I said before, after the Braga game as well, that was the best I think I've ever seen us play in like a European game, and that's saying something. We were dominant from start to finish, and this was a Braga team who, again, I think it just came off a win of Benfica, who Benfica themselves had given Liverpool a very good game. So if you look at it from that kind of side, we're there on merit, mate. We've scored so many goals in this competition this season that, I mean, I think that's just a stupid claim to say that we're not there.
Yeah,
do you know what I see from this team as well? As the season goes on, I feel like we're getting stronger, and the end of the season's coming at completely the wrong time for us. I've just noticed that in the past couple of weeks.
Is it that wee break again? It's done us.
I think it's the whole. I think it's about Gio finding trust in not the first 11. He seemed to have that, but the trust that he's managed to now find in squad players and stuff like that is, yeah. Again, it's, you know, maybe they weren't proving themselves, and we were seeing it on the pitch that players like Scott Wright and that didn't merit a chance. But now that they seem to actually be getting involved with the idea and the tactics and the way it's working, I don't know why if it's taking this long, and that's the issue. But the tactical changes are a lot, like Scotty says, they're a lot more fluent just now, and the end of the season is coming. That it feels like that is coming a little bit too soon.
Yeah, as I said, it's just one of these ones. But Scotty, do you think we'd have got here under Gerrard?
No.
No. Do you think
for as much as I think I've criticised and generally wondered about Gio's style of play, what he does that Gerrard doesn't do is be able to make tactical changes to shape games, and he has shown that he's got good timing, and he seems to have a bit of the Midas touch in Europe when it comes to that, or when it came to that. And there's various times in ties where he's made a change and it's made a material difference to whether we've gone through or got knocked out. We know from watching Gerrard for 3 years that he doesn't change the shape, he changes the personnel. Yeah. And if there is a change of shape, it automatically causes a huge, massive, or a lack of cohesion. Whereas when Gio changes the shape, it's like the players all understand yes, we're changing the shape. We understand our new roles. That said, we still don't necessarily know Gio's style of play, so to speak. But then maybe he doesn't actually have one, and he's very much a fluid 11 guys on the park, like an old Walter Smith tactic. 11 guys on the park, individually you're good enough, collectively go work as a team and go prove it.
Yeah, no, I agree with you there. I think probably his style is he likes to set up a certain way, but it's very much a let's see what they do and we'll react if we need to react. If not, then we'll force our style of play. We'll force the way we play it onto them. But yeah,
I think like the game that we seen that in was the Dortmund at home, because I mean, you probably wouldn't be lying if all of us were thinking half time in that we're 2-1 down, Dortmund are battling us, that we were going to come out of that game and get through. But Gio in the second half changes it, puts Lundstrom in the back, changes to a 3-5-2, and then in that second half, I don't remember us being troubled once, and that allowed Tavernier to push up in the wing where we get the second goal. So I think, like we're talking about Gerrard wouldn't have made those changes. Gerrard was dead stoic on his way of playing, and I mean, it's hearsay if we would have got through against Dortmund in that game, but I think because of that change, that's the reason why we managed to ride at the storm.
Yeah, no, I probably agree with you as well there. I just want to digress slightly, just for the younger guys. Myself and Scotty have seen really 2008, seen that before. We've seen 9 in a row. We've seen success with Rangers, a lot of success with Rangers. Like say yourself, Alec, you've not really seen any sort of success, and I'm quite interested to kind of get your take on what this means to you, what this means to like the younger supporter. Because as I said, we've seen it, we've been there and we've done it, we've seen it before. We've experienced great highs for years and years and years. As I said, but this is pretty new to you guys, the younger boys, the younger generation. I'm quite interested to hear what your take is and how big this is for you.
Well, my first proper season following Rangers, like, you know, myself and taking focus and going on BBC Sport or wherever it was to find the scores if I wasn't watching the games on the TV or listening on the radio or whatever, would have been 09-10 season. So, you know, or 08-09. And then, so I watched, you know, that season, and then I went to the Emirates Stadium for my first Rangers game, so Arsenal Rangers, watched them win titles, you know, the 08-09, 10-11, no, 09-10, 10-11, and, you know, a few, like a League Cup, a Scottish Cup, and it was all brilliant, but I could never compare it to the European run because in that time, especially, there wasn't really one. I mean, I remember when we got drawn against Malmo, that was the one for me that I remembered was the Malmo loss all the way, like, you know, back then, and that was the one that always stuck out to me. Was that there were 3 games that stuck out to me in Europe. Was that one? I think it was Bursaspor and 1-1 at Ibrox Valencia where Morris Edu scored a goal at each end, and that was kind of like that was my European thoughts, and there was never really the runs that we got. You know, we did well in Scotland, and for me now, like I say, I've got nothing in Europe really to compare this against, and this is so special for me. This is a run, like, I watched the videos that there are on YouTube of, you know, the 07-08 run, and I absolutely loved that. So now to be actually seeing it through my own eyes in real time, it feels surreal. But at the same time, in comparison to YouTube videos, etc., it couldn't feel realer.
It does it compare, does it, watching it on YouTube? Yeah. It's something special. And for me, I think that this one's probably even more special for I know we've flogged it to death, but for where we've came from, is for me, this is more emotional than even the 2008 one. Lee, I'm not too sure, is this you similar to Alex? Are you just a wee bit older than Alex that you can remember 2008, or is it relatively new to you?
Kinda sitting in the middle, mate. So I would have been about 14 when we went down to Manchester, but at the same time I was also somewhat a late bloomer and like taking a proper interest in Rangers. So it's like I remember it, but not to the sense of like you do now. I started proper going to the games, I think, as well, like the 2010 season. So it would have been like the same European runs that Alex had seen. But this, nothing compares to like it in this sense because we are adults now. I've done the away trips in Europe with my mates over the last couple of seasons. So it's just a completely different feeling in this compared to 2008.
Brilliant. Yeah. As I said, it's one of these things we just on it, you soak it up, lap it up, and enjoy every single minute of it. Because, as I said, it very rarely does this come around, and you just need to enjoy it while we can. Just moving on, just before we start talking about the team, Scotty, are we getting the credit we deserve for the Scottish media and the attitude is... They've obviously, I mean, there was a tweet I seen the other day regarding the BBC's football page. And, not one story about Rangers 2 days away from a European semi-final, and not one story about Rangers at all. Is that something that we just come to expect, or are we just not getting the credit we deserve?
I think you know the answer to that. I think that's pretty clear. I think so. I've been driving around. You listen to, I say national broadcasters, but I'm in England. Listen to broadcasters that are also broadcasting Scotland, and the likes of TalkSport, for example. And obviously, I've got a keen interest in listening to TalkSport, hoping to hear chat about Rangers, and it's always a secondary afterthought. And it's not even like they're not covering us because they've written us off. They're just not covering us. Like guys like TalkSport, BBC, whoever. I can't fathom the reason why, and I can't explain it. But then what really annoys me is the contrast and the support that West Ham get. How excited they are for West Ham, who potentially might win the trophy. It's like, hang on, we're in a semi-final here. There's an equal chance of one of these four teams actually winning the trophy, and it is really disappointing. But it's also the fawning over West Ham, who are between Leipzig and West Ham spend the most amount of money. And when you're entering the start of the season, looking at the competition, you're expecting these teams to be where they are in the competition at the semi-final. I don't think it's just because it's their first time there in God knows how many years. It's an achievement for West Ham to be there. You spend that amount of money, you're in the competition that you're in. They all talk about how wonderful the Premier League is, how wonderful a competition it is. Well, then, yeah, you should be here. You should be doing this. Rangers have no right. Should not be here. We are the guy that's crashed the party. We're coming in, and hopefully we're going to be that guy that crashes the party and takes the prettiest bird home. Because, fuck me, we deserve it.
And by the way,
anything else.
And sorry, Scott. And by the way, what Scotty's saying there, absolutely bang on with the West Ham are getting they are being painted as this is absolute glorious. The media is absolutely delighted for them down there. Their fans absolutely delighted to be in the Europa League semi-finals. It's getting played down in Scotland for financially a much smaller asset. And we're in the same place as them. We've got through tougher rounds than them, and we are here too. And you don't hear anywhere near as much of it about us as you do about them. And they are, like Scotty says, that's the self-proclaimed best league in the world. It's the one that makes the most money, and they are delighted to be here. So why aren't our media delighted that we're here? Because it is an achievement.
It's not. Do you know what really pisses me off? It's not even the fact that there's negative stories. It's the fact that there's none.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you know what? I listened to, and you mentioned Lothar Matthäus earlier. So we're a 3-bit side. Do you know what? Think that. Publish that. I would rather everyone publish that, and then we turn up, because as I said at the start of the show, I have trust in these players, and I know what these players can do. They turn up and do what they do, and anyone comes into this arena with the mentality that they're playing a third-rate team, they're going to get one hell of a shock. I'm confident that we can demonstrate that, and we can, we don't have to go and win the tie today. We don't even have to win the game today, but we need to make sure they damn well know we're there.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. As I said, my take on it, I mean, even like the support nationally for us is we're a Scottish team in a major semi-final, European Cup, and I know it's not going to happen. I know it's that old adjective, no one likes us, we don't care. But, I mean, you would like to think that somebody would pick it up in the media and do a nice piece about how we've came from where we've been, and we're flying the flag for Scotland in Europe, but that's never going to happen. That's just how things are. As I said, it's that adjective, no one likes us, we don't care. It's sad to see, as I said, England just frown upon us. I mean, don't get me wrong, some of the BT pundits have been quite complimentary. I think
Owen Hargreaves.
Yeah,
what a class act. He has said from the very beginning, if you actually look at everything that he said, he's probably the biggest supporter in the media, than just as big as Annie McCoist.
Yeah. But as I said, the majority of them, they've been okay, but I think a lot of it's surprised with them as well. I think that they just see us as the kind of run to the litter, the ugly sibling. And I just think, see if, like you said, Scotty, just let them think that, and we'll fucking prove them wrong. Because as I said, it's I like the fact that they're painting us as underdog, because, like you said, I've got faith in these boys. These boys, I think that Rangers, if they play the way we know they can play, I think that I don't fear anybody in Europe at all. I don't fear any team. It's just like you said, Scotty, what team turns up in the day. But as I said, if we turn up, we're a right good side, and we're fit for most teams in Europe. Just moving on, so we'll have a wee look at the team sheets. I'll read out the team sheet. So in goal, McGregor. So I'm going to read the team sheet because I really have not got a clue what kind of formation he's going to play here and who's going to play where. So I'll read the personnel out. So McGregor in goals, we know that for sure. Tavernier, Goldson, Bassey, Barisic, Lundstrom, Kamara, Jack, Wright, Kent. Lee, any surprises in there for you?
The only surprise would be Sakala knowing the team probably for Wright. In that sense, I think we all kind of expected Sakala to start. But other than that, mate, like for me personally, I think that's kind of the team that I'd expected to see. I'm surprised at Wright, but again, that kind of goes back to the comment we were speaking about. It shows Gio's now got a bit more faith in like the substitutes, and it's good to see. But no, it's still trying to figure out what the formation is. I keep swaying between it's a 3-5-2 with Wright and Kent up front, or he's playing Aribo as a false nine to try and do that kind of hold-up role that Morelos is good at. But if it's anybody's guess, mate, it's genuinely anyone's guess.
But were you, Alec, baffled by it, or is it pretty much what you thought it was going to be?
Yeah, it's a hard one, isn't it? I don't know. I'm in the same boat. I don't know if it's a 3-5-2 or I think it's interchangeable, which is definitely something, if he starts with one and it doesn't work, then he can always go to the other, which is, it's a good thing. Plus, it keeps them guessing. I'd like to see a bit of pace on the wings. But if it's Tavernier and Barisic, they can do the job too. So I'm not surprised with the team lineup. It kind of, with injuries, etc., not picked itself, but there's not too many changes that you can have in there. Obviously, Sakala not starting is a little bit of a surprise. It's not one that I'm against whatsoever, but it just came as a surprise because he seemingly is our only fit striker. So yeah, I'm not overly surprised with the team, and to be honest, the only stuff that I'm working out, formation, etc., is I'm happy for. And if it is a 3-5-2, like Lee mentioned earlier, it was what we did in the second half against Borussia Dortmund. Okay, they're not the same team, but it worked then.
Yeah. So any surprises for you, Scotty? Maybe Scott Wright getting picked there.
Oh, probably fair to say. I think it's a bit of a surprise. I think we all expected probably Sakala over Wright, but that does indicate more of a tactical switch. I think what we'll see is a lot of running with the ball and actually taking players on, rather than to be honest, I don't really know. I'm talking shite now. We've heard the false nine mentioned. I think it could be 4-3-3, 3-5-2 changing multiple times throughout. It could be anything. I don't really know. It is a bit of a surprise. I'll shut up now.
So, obviously, it's a surprise to us. We don't really know what formation Gio's going to play and who's going to play where. So, as I said, if we're still guessing, would you think it's a good thing? It's worked out in our favour because obviously they're going to be guessing as well.
Yeah, they'll have their setup, and they'll be thinking whatever it is and tweaking for either way. And as much as we can interchange, I'm sure they can too. They are an elite German side, but yeah, of course it's good to keep them guessing. And having Wright in there is brilliant after his last couple of games. I think he had a decent impact when he came on against Celtic, and he was just lacking the end product. And then he improved that quite a bit against Motherwell in the second half, anyways. So he deserves the shout, he deserves the chance, but it is a big chance to stake his claim, and maybe he didn't want to play Sakala through the middle because he was pretty ineffective against Braga away when he had to or when he did. So he's changed it. Maybe I said on Tuesday night I would like to see Aribo in that role, but again I'm not sure if that's what it is or not. So
I think if you compare on the left hand side, I think that is definitely Sakala's best position.
Yeah,
but
for
it's
sure.
occupied by Ryan Kent. I think the only other option might have been was to put probably Kent more centrally and put Sakala on the left hand side. But I think maybe Wright has that ability to drop deep, come centrally, play on the right, and he's just a bit more flexible and can put more of a consistent performance than Sakala in different positions. And I think that's probably why he's included over him.
Just
nothing personal.
Just because you said you were calm at the start, Scotty, how are you feeling now?
Still pretty calm.
I tell you what, you're putting a good face on it. If you are, mate. If you're not, you're looking no bad. You've calmed me down a bit.
Pretty confident.
For me, I think Sakala can he really play with his back to goal, and I think that in a night like this in Europe, I think you need an outlet, you need an outball, and you need somebody that's going to be able to hold it up. For me, I think that's probably why Aribo is going to play up front as a false nine. I think Aribo, we don't call him Velcro for nothing, so I think that he will get the ball put up to him. I think he's the only one. He's probably the best one, bar Morelos, at holding the ball up anyway. So I think it makes sense to put him up there. He's got a turn in him. He's got a wee bit of magic, and he can play a pass. So for me, that's still a wee bit for me putting square pegs in round holes. I think that Morelos was a massive loss, and I think Roof's a massive loss also. So we're starting a major European game with not a really recognised striker on the park. So for me, Wright, I think Wright's it was man of the match against Motherwell. So I think he deserves his inclusion. What worries me is that he's got a tendency to hide a wee bit. He's just tend to fall out of games and stuff like that. And I think that he's now or never. I mean, this could make him. This could make him the rest of his career. This game.
It's the Brandon Barker.
100%. But as I said, I think he's better than Barker. I think his final ball's lacking sometimes, but I think you can tell that he needs to play games and he needs confidence. But look, if there's a stage set, do you know what I mean? The stars align and all that. We need somebody to step up and be a hero. Why no Scott Wright? But the other thing But the other thing that's that none of you have really mentioned, I thought he would have played McLaughlin. I think for the tactical point of view of them playing a high press and being fast, I think that McGregor's going to need to be better with the ball at his feet, because I think you'll see a lot of ball at his feet tonight. And I think that it gives me the absolute fear.
Yeah, I think it's as well as what we saw versus them at Hampden is they thought they could just lob useless balls into the box and they'd have a chance at it because the keeper never went for it. And the difference we had was McLaughlin would go for it, and because he went for it, they weren't hi Martin, they weren't that challenged. You know, they couldn't challenge as much in the box. And it just gives you a bit of a physical aspect in the box as well to have, whereas McGregor's boots are glued to the grass, glued to his line. So
there's the boss man here, all right, Martin?
I was in the background and I'm so nervous that I had to come on. Honestly, I can't take it anymore.
What's your thoughts on the team?
Pretty much what we expected. I think the guys are right. Look, Sakala in the last round didn't really work out, but then against Motherwell, the problem you've got, and this is the discussion I had in work today, if Sakala plays, you have to play him on the left. So do you sacrifice Kent on the left over to the right to play Sakala? Is Aribo through the middle? What do you do?
I play Kent centrally. See that false nine role? Yeah, see that false nine role? I think Kent would be absolutely superb.
He's good at receiving the ball.
I just tight spaces, quick turns, break lines, more influential in the middle of the pitch. Whether this is a game where you can actually try that, I think it should have been tried in a different game, different environment, without the pressure, because obviously it's a gamble. It doesn't pay off. Then you've wasted 30, 40 minutes of a football match, and he's not been into the game. That said, sometimes we watch Rangers play on a European night. We don't see Ryan Kent for a long period of time, and then he pops up and he does a bit of magic.
The issue for me, Scotty, would be playing him in a false nine. I know the false nine is not exactly about finishing or whatever. But you play Kent centrally and you're asking him to make late runs into the box. Kent's finishing isn't up to the standard for me for him to play that.
No, exactly. But this is why we have the squad, and this is why guys like, I know Arfield's on the bench. Arfield and Ramsey, Arfield will probably be introduced later, whether we have to or not, for guys like Kamara. Because obviously with Kamara on the pitch, it does seem that we are going quite defensively minded. Kamara, Jack, Lundstrom. We've tried to push Kamara further up the pitch and it hasn't quite worked. So I don't expect that to happen again today. But what I do expect is them to sit a bit deep and just let the front three. And obviously there's a reason that these three are picked, because they are interchangeable and they kind of move around and play in different positions. But try and let them do their thing without breaking our shape when getting up the pitch. Guys like, it's going to be really important that guys like Tavernier and Barisic use their intelligence and their timing when they push up onto flanks.
Can I just ask, sorry Mark, just very quickly, just to pick up on Scotty's point, Mark, he's saying that he doesn't obviously expect the midfield three to do much in terms of breaking forward and leaving most of it to the front three. If they do at any point, though, with that midfield three, Kamara, Jack and Lundstrom, who is the one that's going to break forward?
I don't know. It's thing is as well that he might play Lundstrom at the back, and it might be 3-5-2.
I don't think it will be one person breaking forward. It won't be a case of Kamara, you're going to be that person to break forward. Lundstrom, you're going to be that person. We've seen time and time again that Lundstrom is a brilliant ball carrier.
Yeah.
We've seen Kamara playing games where he has been told to run into the box. And we've seen that Jack can get in and around the area and he's got a shot on him. So it is going to be a case of those three are going to have to communicate and work hard together and understand each other's games and the timing. It's going to be all about timing, because we're not going to get two guys go at the pitch at the same time. But we are going to expect to see at least one of them try and support with the discipline.
Yeah, I'm very much we've set up to happen the counter attack, and I really don't like us playing like that. I think that we are better when we're on the front foot and we're pressing high.
Oh, come on. You can't expect Rangers in the European semi-final away to Leipzig to go into the RB Arena and then expect them to take the game and take the high line.
We've done it in Dortmund.
What do you mean, why not?
We've done it in Dortmund.
No, we didn't.
Yeah, we kind of did.
So, like I said, you got to. For me, this team need to be in the front foot. I think that when we try and sit back and we try and soak up pressure, we'll look nervous and we'll look shaky. I think that we moving forward, and I think I've got a funny feeling he's going to play three at the back. I really do. And we're not going to know until they all go on the park and they all line up with formation. And do you know what? This might be a masterstroke because Leipzig might be thinking the exact same thing as us. Exact same thing.
Well, do you know what,
We're
Mark?
doing that marking.
You've got the perfect tactics man there, Alex, to answer that question. So, Alex, what do Rangers do tonight? Do they sit back? Because we have looked shaky when we've sat back. Or do, as soon as the game starts, do we press?
In Dortmund, we caught them off guard, but at this point, they'll be expecting to be caught off guard. They'll be expecting anything. It's so hard to say. Leipzig are a step up from Dortmund this season, especially. Dortmund have the individual talents, but they're off the boil, and so it's hard to compare. Leipzig are a stronger side throughout. They have a better defense than Dortmund, and I don't know. They're more. The cogs connect a lot better, and they are a good team. And I don't know, because if you sit off them, then it gives them the chance to go at you and have an extra shot, have an extra chance, maybe catch the rebound or whatever. Whereas if you're, in a lot of ways, the best form of defense is attack, because they're not getting near your box as much. But it's harder to keep it at such a level, that you don't expect Rangers to be on top for 90 minutes, or if you do, you're a lunatic. So it's hard to expect Rangers to go and press for so long, because what they'll do is they'll just try and tire Rangers out and try and, they can be a patient side. So it's not an easy one to predict, especially with that lineup.
Yeah, I think the lineup's flung everybody a wee bit, because we don't really know formations and stuff like that.
Can I just make the point, if we want to take the game to Leipzig, that Leipzig's strength is their counter-attack?
Yeah.
So that, I understand that as well, but it's just a tricky one. It's just one of these ones. And do you know what? As I said, the more I think about it, the more I think it's a masterstroke. I think that it keeps them guessing, because we're all guessing. To be perfectly honest, we don't know how we're going to play. So, and if Morelos was fit and Roof was fit, we'd know exactly how we were going to play, because the same way we've played the whole tournament.
By the way, I remember last April when we were in lockdown, seeing tweets going, "It's April and Rangers are still in a European competition." As a joke. That's what I seen. I remember seeing tweets this time 2 years ago. Sorry, when we were in lockdown. And people were saying, "Oh, Rangers are still in European competition in April, ha ha ha, like that's quite good or whatever." Now we're here for real, and we're still in it in May.
You all right, Lee? You back, quiz?
Mate, absolute nightmare. It's just trying back and forth. It's just, I'll get it fixed for the reaction, mate. I'll get it fixed.
Mate, we're finishing now.
I know.
We'll see you after. Look, just to wrap up, guys, because that's been nearly 45 minutes. Does history repeat itself? 50th year anniversary of Barcelona, 1972. Is it written in the stars? 2020. What do you think, guys? Alex, I'll go to you first. In fact, no, I'll go to Lee first, because Lee's not said anything for about half an hour. What do you think, Lee? Is it written in the stars?
See, I'm not usually a superstitious person in that sense, but for some reason, just in my head, I've just been thinking it all day. Like, even two magpies flew. One magpie flew across the window earlier, and I was telling my missus to break the chain, because I was like, no, because Rangers need to win. Rangers all that freaking good luck stuff. So, you know what, mate? If we were ever going to do it, this is the year to do it. 150 years anniversary. Like, why not do it? Why not do it this year? So,
Alec, what about you? Is it written in the stars?
I hope so. I don't know. I don't know. I really hope so. We've come so far, and it won't. No matter what happens now, you have to be proud of the run and what a run it's been. But you don't want to get to this stage and not take it one step further.
Very, very proud. Very proud. What about you, Scotty? We'll give you the final word. What's your thoughts?
Whatever will be.
Right, guys. Thanks everybody for listening. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and if you hit the wee bell notification, you'll never miss a show. All righty. So take it easy and Monagels.
Monagels, boys.